Today we are going to consider the major keys and the minor keys, both the natural minor, the melodic, and the harmonic minor scale. Okay, so because you're going to see in your exams, for instance, write 1 octave melodic minor starting on D or anything, so you need to understand. So we are doing the 3 and I will tell you the interval and how to find them. Now the major key first. Let's work on G major and its relative minor. Now this is first the major key. When we say G major key, that means Do is the tonic, Do is degree 1. And I'm going to write G major ascending 1 octave. G, we have G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Sometimes you will be asked to write using time signature. Now this is G major 1 octave, and I said that G is the Do, so this is now Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. This is G major ascending 1 octave. Okay, then what's the relative minor of G major? The answer is E minor. The 6th degree now becomes the tonic. But I don't always like using that because I don't want to confuse you. But if you're finding a minor from a major key, the relative minor from a major key, you count 6. The 6th degree now becomes the tonic on a minor key. Okay, so G, A, B, C, D, E. So this becomes the tonic in the minor key. Okay, E. So I'll use this E. This tonic, minor key has La as tonic. Major key has Do as tonic. Please take note of this. If I ask you what is the 5th degree in the scale of D, okay, E minor we're working on, is different from what is the 5th degree in the key of G major. Okay, or even G minor. Now this is, let's write out and then natural minor first. Now this is major, this is G major. Now this is E minor, not just minor, E natural minor, which is here La, Ti. Please don't forget I almost forgot the key signature. This is the key signature. Sometimes you may not be asked to use key signature, rather you may be asked to use accidental. So in case you're asked to use accidental, okay, when I'm working on the melodic minor, I will use accidental to show you 2 ways of question. It can come in any of the form. Okay, so we have here E, D, F sharp. Note the notes here are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and back to G. Can you see? Okay. Then the notes here are E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, back to E. Now this is La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La. So in minor key, La becomes the tonic. In major key, Do is the tonic. Now if you're finding a relative major from a minor key, you count the 3rd degree becomes the tonic in a major key. Now let's see, 1, 2, this is the third degree. So if you're finding a major, relative major from a minor, you count third. So G now becomes the tonic on the major key, becomes G major. If you're finding a minor, relative minor from a major key is 6, the 6th degree becomes, you start from there as the tonic, you take it to become the home key, the tonic. Okay, then let's do melodic minor. Can you see up to this point? Now this is for the natural minor. Now let's write E melodic minor ascending. Ascending of melodic minor is different from descending. When you are descending, you natural, it becomes a natural minor. When you are ascending, it's melodic. Now in melodic minor, we'll have the 6th and the 7th degree rest. Now let's see what I'm saying. This one I'm not going to write the key signature, I will use accidental. Okay, let me use key signature so I won't really confuse you. Then we have here E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, back to E. We have the 6th and the 7th degree rest. So this place now is going to be this. So which now means it's E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, back to E. So this is going to be La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Vi, Si, La. So which now becomes La, Ti, Do, Re, Mi, Vi, Si, La. When you are descending, it becomes, okay, let me check if this place can enter the descending. La, then La, So, Fa, Mi, Re, Do, Ti, La. You see? When you are ascending, the 6th and the 7th degree are rest. When you are descending, it's naturalized. Now, let me not put this bar. Let me naturalize it also to still keep refreshing your mind on accidental. Da, da. So this place means you're going to put this sign. So it's become da 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 ti do re di da so sa di re do ti da. So this is the melodic ascending. I've done descending too. Now let's look at the E harmonic minor. In harmonic minor, only the 7th degree is rest. What I mean by degree, this is degree 1, degree 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Same thing in octave. So only the 7th degree is rest by semitone. Okay, so it's going to be the, let me not use can you see? Okay, let me not use key signature, rather accidental. So it's going to be La, because sometimes you may be asked this in this manner. La, ti, do, re, di, da, then ti, la. So this is harmonic. The 7 degrees rest. So it becomes La, di, do, re, mi, la, si, la, la, si, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Well, melodic was La, ti, do, re, mi, si, la, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Major key was do, re, mi, la, so, la, ti, do, di, da, ta, ta, re, do. Then natural minor was major, minor key, because you may be asked at any point, any key you will be asked. So this is the same. Now let's consider the formula for finding a major key. So the formula for finding a major key is from G to A is a tone. So G to A is a tone. A to B is a tone. B to C is a semitone. C to D is a tone. D to E is a tone. E to F sharp is a tone. Then F sharp to G is a semitone. So we have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's the formula for finding major key. Now, the formula for finding natural minor key. Let's look at it. Okay, we have here E to F sharp is a tone. Let me use here. E to F sharp is a tone. Now, F sharp to G is a semitone. G to A is a tone. A to B is a tone. B to C is a semitone. C to D is a tone. Then D to E is a tone. So formula for natural minor is tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. So we have, let's see, tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, tone, tone. That's it. Then let's find out formula for melodic minor. Finding melodic minor we have is from E to F sharp is a tone, we've agreed. From F sharp to G is a semitone. From G to A is a tone. From A to B is a tone. From B to C sharp is a tone. From C sharp to D sharp is a tone. From D sharp to E is a semitone. So the formula for melodic minor is tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now let's, for the harmonic minor we have E to F sharp is a tone. F sharp to G is a semitone. G to A is a tone. A to B is a tone. B to C is a semitone. C to D sharp is then D sharp to E semitone. This one has tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, augmented semitone. Okay, so let's see what that means. So let's see from here. So you say it's a tone, so we have tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, augmented semitone. Wow, it's correct. So we have tone, semitone, tone, tone, semitone, and semitone. So that's the formula, and enjoy yourself. Today we are going to consider interval, and I've already said that interval means distance between two notes, right? Okay, and we have properties of an interval, which we have the quality. Now let me explain this quality because we've already done the quantity. Let me explain the quality. Quality has to do with, for instance, let me use a bag of rice to illustrate quality of an interval. Let's assume we have 3 full bags of rice here, 3 full bags of rice. Then another side we have 3 half bags of rice, but it's still 3 bags. Now the quality of the first one is full, but it's still 3. That's the quantity. And the quality of the second one is half, but it's still 3. So the quality has to do with the size. You understand now? The size of an interval. Okay. Then we have some qualified properties of an interval. Like what I mean, the quality, we have the perfect In quality, we have perfect, abbreviated as P. We have major, abbreviated as capital M. Please, if I give you an assignment or a test and you write major as small m, it's your fault, not mine. And we have minor with small m. We have diminished as dim. Then we have augmented. These are the quality of an interval. Okay. We have the perfect, major, minor, diminished, and augmented. Then to find the full properties of an interval, you have to include both. You have to include the numbers, which has to do with, the numbers has to do with the unison numbers. These are the qualities. Hope you can see up to that point. Good. Now these are the qualities of an interval, which we have the perfect, the major, the minor, the diminished, the augmented. Inside this minor or diminished, we can have double diminished, we can have double augmented. Okay, then today we are really going to explain because we want to build something. I won't rush you. Okay, then under the quantity, or you can say under the numbering, we have the unison, then we have the second. The unison is 1. Then we have the second, 2. We have the third, 3, the fourth, fifth. Let me write because we are learning. The third is 3, abbreviated as 3. The fourth with an abbreviation as 4. Then the fifth with an abbreviation as 5. Sixth is 6. 7 is 7. Then eighth is 8. Okay, so these are the qualities and the quantities. Okay, now I'm going to explain the numbers that has perfect, because in finding the properties of an interval, like knowing the real interval, when I mean by property is qualify. When I mean by properties, I'm now combining properties, combination of both the quality and the quantity. That's how we get a real qualified interval. You combine the both. Now let me explain how quantity works. Let me explain the quantity first. Now, and the number that has unison. Okay, let's draw a staff. Today we need to build the knowledge so that from next class we just move. This is a staff. Now the quality has to do with the number of the lines and the spaces involved. For instance, if we're talking about unison, let's start from unison. Let me use the vertical for now. If we are talking about unison, let's assume this is, if we are talking about unison, this is unison, same position, prime, same place, 2 notes, same position. So this is unison 1, same position. I'm now explaining this. Now if we are talking about second, if we are talking about second, this is second from here to here. Now let's see the number of lines and spaces on the stub involved. We have 1 and 2, just 2. That's what is second, just a line and a space. If we are considering like third, here and here will be third, because let's see the number involved. 1, line 1, space 2, and line 3. This is how we have a third. I've already explained this in our last class. Now let me explain the numbers that are perfect and the numbers that are major and unison here. Now when you have 1, like if it's 1, You know, one is now unison I'm talking about, or you can one is perfect. So for instance, this now you're going to say P1. That is, this one means unison. That's perfect unison. When it's one, it's perfect. Because even when you invert one, it's still going to give you a perfect octave. Okay, one is perfect. I'm not really going too far. Then 2 is considered as major. Please see how I'm putting in major. So any interval of a second is first major, although when reduce, or we can have minor inside major, we can have minor, we can have but augmented, we can have diminished, but 2 is first major, the interval that is considered to be perfect major. Then 3 first is major 2, 4th is perfect, 5th is perfect, 6 is major, 7 is major, 8 is perfect. So please understand this first, that one unison is perfect, second is major, then third is minor, fourth is perfect, fifth is perfect, 6 major, 7 major. So for instance, you can't say perfect second, that's wrong. You can't say perfect 6, that's wrong. And you can't say major fourth. We don't have major fourth in music. We have a perfect fourth. I hope you understand. We don't have major interval, major fourth interval. We have a perfect fourth interval. I hope you're with us. Okay, now let me explain the qualities. I've already explained that the qualities. Now you see we have minor here because inside major we will have inside what the interval, the number or the quantity of a major, we can have minor, because if it's not a major we can have minor. Then perfect, when it is reduced, or don't worry, let me just say reduce for now. Primarily, let me call it reduce because that's the language you will understand for now. When a perfect is reduced 4 degrees, let me use that word. Like, reduce, I've already explained. It gives you a diminished. When a major is reduced, it gives you a minor. Understand now? Now, when a perfect is increased, it gives you augmented. Same thing with a major. Okay, so perfect give you diminished, major will give you minor. Both can give you augmented. I've explained the qualities and the quantity. Now, in combining both, for instance, in having a major first, we have certain number of semitones that can give us a major second. For instance, number of semitones is what matters toward finding if it's a perfect first, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth. We have certain number of semitones that determines that. And in our next class, we are going to consider the number of semitones that form either a perfect one, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, because all these things are determined by number of semitones involved. And we also have enharmonic notes, but when it comes to intervals, it's not same. So we are going to consider that in our next class. Enjoy yourself. Today I said we are going to consider certain number of semitones and what properties of an interval they form. Okay, so we are going to draw the staff, and that's what we'll be using. Okay. Whether I use treble clef or bass clef, the intervals remain the same. This keyboard is not really understanding interval does not need a keyboard, but I'm just doing it for people who might have a little knowledge on the instruments. Although I won't really use this, because I will use this but not too much, because we have people who don't play the keyboard. But let's write out the chromatic scale starting on C. You have C, C sharp, the ascending chromatic scale starting on C. And back to C. All right. Okay. Now, I said we're going to consider number of semitones and what interval they form. Now, I'm going to go harmonically for now. Now, the first one, let's start on middle C. Middle C to middle C. How many semitones are involved? Let's see. This is C to C, same position. So, this is considered when it's involved the same pitch, the same tone, the same position. It's considered to be perfect unison. Perfect unison. Are you following me? C to C, that's a perfect unison. No semitone involved. It's okay. Then let's see the next one. I'm going to use C as the starting point for all. This is C to D. C to D. Let's see how many semitones are involved. Okay, let me write out when it's involved, no semitones, like same position. So same position. I'm breaking this down for you to understand. Is unison. Now let's see C to D. How many semitones? This is C, right? C. This is C, right? 1, 2. How many semitones are involved? 2 semitones. So this is going to be, when it's involved 2 semitones, then it's considered to be. Please see how I'm writing major second. So 2 semitones is called major second. Please, this is very important. Then next one, let's see. I need from C to E. Let's see how many semitones are involved. This is C to E. Now we have how many steps? Is third. You see, this one is third. That's the quantity is a second. This one is the second. This one is the first. Now the quantity here is, because in finding the properties of an interval, you have to consider the numbers on the staff, like the numbers of lines and spaces involved on the staff, and then you also consider the numbers of semitones involved. Now let's find the two, how to find both. Now this is C, which is line 1 on a line. Now we pass a space and here 3, so it's a third. But what type of third? That's where the quality comes in. The size. Is it small third, big third, or K-leg third? You understand? Something like that. Okay, so we found that it's a third. What type of third? Let's consider how many semitones are involved. No, we are going to consider accidental, chromatic, all those things. So Now let's see C to E. This is C. We pass C sharp, D, this. How many semitones? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 semitones. So what can we get from 4 semitones? 4 semitones is a major third. So major third is four semitones. So whenever you have 4 semitones, that gives you a major third. Then let's consider C. We have done C to D, C to E, now C to F. C to F consists of how many alphabets? This another way of finding is C, D, E, F. That's 4. Another way of finding it also, you count how many lines and spaces are involved on the step. We have, this is a line, space, line, space. That's still 4. Okay? So you can consider it alphabetically like C, D, E, F. This one is C and C, 1. This one is C, D, 2. This one is C, D, E, 3. This one now is C, D, E, F, 4. So it's a fourth. The interval is 4. Then what's the quality, the size? Now C to F, let's look at it. This is C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many semitones are involved? 5 semitones. So when it involves 5 semitones, it's considered to be perfect fourth. Please, not major fourth. Perfect fourth. If you write major fourth, in fact, you'll be jailed. Are we together? Good. Now, let's consider C to G. Whether harmonically or melodically, the interval remains the same. Now C to G. C, okay, let's use the alphabet. C, D, E, F, G. So C is now the root. D, E, F, fifth. So it's a fifth. Now what type of fifth? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones are involved. So when we have 7, can you see up to this point? Oh, no way. So when we have 7 semitones, 7 semitones makes a perfect fifth. Perfect fifth. I'm gonna use this side now. Now let's consider C to A. So in exams, you can just, if you've not been able, but at this level you should cram the chromatics so that anyway it starts, you just calculate it and know. And another way of knowing all these things is knowing your keys, all the keys, signatures, and the accidentals involved. Once you know the keys, for instance, if someone should ask you now, maybe G to F sharp, what's the interval? Because you already know F sharp is in the key of G, you can easily know that it's a major 7. But if you don't know the key signature, the keys, you're still going to struggle. So all the keys, you need to know them. Maybe A flat to D, what's the interval? And if you don't know that D in the key of A flat is supposed to be D flat, you may say, what type of fourth? Is it a major fourth, perfect fourth, or diminished or augmented fourth? So all these things, knowing the keys and the key signatures or the accidentals in each of the keys is very, very necessary. Now C to A, let's see. C to A, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 semitones. So 9 semitones will give you a major 6. Please see how I'm writing my major. Capital M, you put small number. Okay, then C to B. C to B. How many semitones? Okay, first of all, what is the quantity? C, D, E, F, G, A, B. 7 is the seventh. So what's the size of the 7? Is it a major? So let's see how many semitones are involved. D to C to B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 semitones are involved. So this will give us a major 7. Then let's see what C to C will be. Are we ready? So C to C is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 semitones will give you a perfect octave. Perfect 8. That 8 means octave. That means you have reached another pitch, but the same notes. So 12 semitones makes an octave. Okay? With this, we built the basic knowledge on intervals. Go back to your key signature and study it. I will open a lesson on key signature after this lesson for you, because that's what will help you to come back to this, because we are moving. You know, we've not considered okay, maybe we'll still use C to consider when it is decrease, what are we going to have? When it is added, decreased by semitone or increased by semitone, what are we going to have? This is the basic. From next class, we are going to consider the minor, the diminished, the augmented, and after that, we do generally, and you answer my question. Today, we are going to consider what makes an interval a major or a minor. Number one, it has to do with numbers of semitones involved. And secondly, it's really not sometimes have to do with number of semitones involved, because, for instance, C to F sharp, that will give me a tritone. But if I say C to G flat, that is different. Okay, let me not call it tritone. If I say C to F sharp, that will give me augmented fourth. But if I say C to G flat, F sharp and G flat, we know are same notes, harmonically equivalent. But when it has to do with interval, it's diverse. So sometimes it involves the same number of semitones. C to F sharp involves 6 semitones. C to G flat involves 6 semitones, but not the same interval. So that's what I said. Sometimes it involves numbers of semitones, sometimes it does not involve. So that is what we are going to consider today. I hope you've studied the key signatures, because that will help you. Like if you're in exams that you're given maybe like 2 hours, you may not have all the time, except you were really prepared. You may not have all the time to sit down and be drawing this in rough paper and be counting. So there's some things you just need to use your brain, like instant. Okay, let me use the best clef for today. It's still the same thing. Well, whichever clef you use, what matters is the interval. Okay, so we are going to consider how to have minor, third, but it's still third, fourth, but okay. We've already considered the major aspects. Now, let's look at it in the minor aspects. C to C was a perfect unison. Do you still remember that? Good. But C to C flat, C. Let me see. Okay, let me write the chromatic chromatic scale starting on C, both ascending and descending, because we are going to work with both now. Now C, we had C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and back to C. Now let's write the enharmonic. Let me write the descending now. When this is C, D flat, D, E flat, E, F, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B, and back to C. All these notes are same. You see, I'm putting them vertically together. They are same, enharmonically same, equivalent. That's enharmonic notes. They have the same pitch but different names, different note names. Like D sharp and E flat, different names but same position, same pitch. Okay, all right. So now this is C to C flat. Now we already know that C to C is 1, but the size now is what we want to consider. C to C flat. Let's see. This is C. Where is C flat? This is C. Let me use this side. This is C. Can you see? Good. Now this is C and B becomes C flat. Can you see now? C and flat now has to do with a semitone backward. So a semitone backward from C. Let me draw the keyboard again. Okay, quick one. Let's use this keyboard. Good. This is C. Okay, this is C. Good. Semitone from C is the here, and you can't call it B because this is what you're given as an interval. If you say C to B, you're referring to another quality and another property of an interval. So C to C flat is now going to be, I said when a perfect is reduced or decreased by semitone, it gives you diminished. So C to C flat now is going to be called diminished unison. Diminished unison. Do you understand? When a perfect is reduced, it becomes a diminished. We've already done C to C. C to C was a perfect 1. That's why we have diminished 1. Now, C to C flat will give you a diminished 1 because flat, we talk about flat reduced by semitone. That's 1 flat. So it's going backward. Okay, then C to C sharp. Let's see what C to C sharp will give us. C to C sharp, this is C, right? To C sharp. C sharp is now increased by semitone. This is C sharp. So from this C to C sharp, how many semitones are involved? Just 1. So if it was just C to C, that would have given us a perfect unison. Now, 1 semitone is added, so that becomes augmented unison. Augmented 1. Please, what I'm teaching you now is something that you're supposed to pay like first 1 million and keep. Like that one is called initial deposit. But if I'm giving you for almost free, then you don't value it. It's not my fault. My conscience is cleared. So if you like, you take it serious. If you don't like, it's up to you. We are all adults. You know what you want. I know what I want. So C to C sharp is called augmented unison. When a perfect is increased, it becomes augmented. When a perfect is decreased, it becomes diminished. So that's how we get augmented unison. 1 means unison. You call it as a professional unison. Don't say augmented 1. You call it unison. Okay. This was a diminished unison. Now can you see? Though it has the same name, but the size is different. 1 bag of 50 kg rice is not the same as 1 bag of 25 kg rice, but they're all 1 bags. Do you understand? Good. Then let's continue. We're not going to consider so many. Let's just build the basic, because as we keep going, we add. Now, C to D, we've already considered it to be. Okay, now let's consider how many semitones. Okay, we consider this that it has only 1 semitone. I'll write here, only 1 semitone involved. That's why it's called like that. Okay, this one also involve a semitone backward. Okay, now C to D, which had 2 semitones, was called major second. Now let's see what C to D flat will be called. C to D flat, let's see what is called. This is C and this is D flat. Can you see? C and D is second already. Then what is it called? C to D. And D flat is the same thing as C sharp. When you hear it, you can mention anything, but when you see it, you don't mention anything. So C to D flat and C sharp are the same notes, the same place on any instrument, but they are not the same interval when it comes to this. So when you hear it, you can say, oh, that is C sharp, or you can say that is D flat, or you can write augmented unison, or you can write what we are going to consider now when you are hearing. But when you are seeing, it changes. So when you are doing music theory exams, what you see is what you write. When you are doing oral exam or maybe pitch recognition, you can answer anything. Okay. Now, C to D flat, back to us. C to D flat is same thing. Now, this is C to D. C and D. That is second. What type of second? If C to D was giving us a major second, another thing to find is that D is in the key of C. So that automatically makes it a major. So now what would D flat be? Major second. What would D flat be? D flat now becomes a minor second. So see how you write minor, big 2. Or you just write your minor second, make God see say you don't write to make person no go mark you wrong. If you can't write small m like this, write it directly. Make while I know there. So how many semitones makes a minor second? Remember how many made a major second? Major second was 2 semitones. Now a minor second involve how many semitones? This is C to D flat, just 1 semitone. So can you see when I said sometimes it has to do with number of semitones, sometimes it does not have to do with number of semitones. Can you see to the up? Okay, so you see, number of semitones means different thing. This same mean different thing. So sometimes it has to do with number of semitones. Sometimes it has nothing to do with number of semitones. And let's see C to D sharp. Can you see how the sharp is placed when written, or the accidentals are placed when written on the staff, and how they are placed when writing and using a letters? Please, when you're using staff, you place it behind. When you're writing letters, you place it in front. Take note of this. Now let's see C to D sharp. C to D sharp. Let's see. How many semitones? 1, 2, 3. 3 semitones. So 3 semitones. What can 3 semitones give us? What do we have from 3 semitones? Is it? You remember 2 semitones was giving us a major second. Now 3 will give us what we call, because that second now, you see, it's still a second, but the second is raised by semitone. This one was still a second, but the second was reduced by semitone. That was why we got a minor. But now this second is raised. When something is raised, it becomes augmented. It augments. When something is reduced, it becomes either minor or diminished. And now take note, when a minor is reduced again, it becomes diminished. When a perfect is reduced, it becomes diminished. When a major is reduced, it becomes a minor, and when a minor is reduced, it becomes diminished. Now, when a major have double reduced, is reduced by a tone, let me put it that way, or have 2 semitones reduced, it becomes a diminished. We are gradually going there. Now, this is now augmented second. So augmented second involve 3 semitones. So you see, major second involved, it was 2 semitones. Then augmented second now has to do with 3. You see, it's more than 2. 2 was major, it's more than 2 now. 3, it becomes augmented. Okay, now let's look at C to, we are done with C to D. Now let's look at C to E. No, we have already done E there, which was major third. Now let's look at C to E flat, and also look at C to E sharp. And which note is E sharp? And why it's so good? Okay, now C to E flat. Let's see. C. 1, 2, 3. How many semitones are involved? 3. Same as C to D sharp. You see, 3 semitones, right? Same as this, but they don't have the same intervallic name, because this one was 2 notes on the staff, 2 lines and space. Like the lines and space involved in this one was just 2, 1, 2, but the lines and the space involved in this one is 3, 1 line 3, as C, D, E. Well, this one was C and D. Okay, so now that's a third first. What type of third? Now, when it involves 4 semitones, we call it a major third. Now, these 3 semitones is called a minor third. When major is decreased, it becomes minor. Now, 3 semitones involved is called minor third. Now, let's look at from C to E sharp. Now, where is E sharp on the keyboard? Let's see. This is E, right? So which note now calls a E sharp? Because there's no black notes here. So that means E sharp is this. So in other words, this note can be called E sharp. Okay. And this note can be called F flat. So let me put it. This is E sharp and this is F flat. So this is E and this is E sharp. So F is enharmonic equivalent of E sharp. But number of you don't call you when you are seeing it on a theory, you answer it based on the theory. When you're hearing it, you can choose whichever way you want to. So what's C to E sharp? Let's see how many semitones are involved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 semitones are involved in E sharp. Remember how many semitones were involved in C to F? Still 5. A C to F was called a perfect fourth, consisting of 5 semitones. But now C to E sharp is not going to be called a perfect fourth because number one, the numbers of lines and spaces on the stem involved is C, D, E, 3. So it can't be 4. So it's going to be third. So what size of third is it? Now let's see. C to E was a major third. So C to E sharp is called, how many semitones? 5. So 5 semitones is called augmented third. Are you good? Now let's consider next one. I'm looking for space. Okay. C to F flat. And also consider C to F. Okay, C to what? F flat. And also consider C to F sharp. Then the rest is going to be your assignment. You're going to consider C to G flat, G sharp. Now let me write out your assignment first, lest I forget. Your assignment, you're going to tell me the interval between C to G flat, C to G sharp, C to A flat, C to A sharp. Can you see? No, I'll snap, don't worry. Then C to B flat, then C to B sharp, C to C flat. When I say C to C flat, okay, let's stop at C to C. No, C to C flat. When I say C flat, I'm talking about C to the upper C flat, not the same position. We have already done the same position. Then C to C, which is the octave. Okay, now C to F flat. How many intervals are involved? Let's see. F flat, this is F flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4 intervals. Can you see? Now, how many was involved in C to E sharp? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then F flat, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 intervals. So 4 intervals involved in C to F flat. What's the quality? C, D, E, F is a fourth. What's the size of the fourth? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 interval. When it consists of 4 semitones, when it consists of 4 semitones, remember I said when a perfect is reduced, when it was 5 semitones, it gives us a perfect fourth. So this is going to be a diminished fourth. diminished fourth. Now let's see C to F sharp. How many intervals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 intervals. So 6 interval. When it was 5, we had a perfect fourth. Now I told you when a perfect is increased by semitones, it gives you augmented. So you can call this augmented fourth, and this is also called tritone because it involved 3 tones, which are 6 semitones. Now let's see again. C to F sharp, how many semitones? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 semitones. So that's what is called a tritone. How many tones? Tones, C to D, 1 tone, 2, and 3 tones. So it involves 3 tones too. Now your assignment is that you're going to work out the interval between C to G flat, C to G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B sharp, C flat, and back to perfect octave. Okay, so for now, enjoy yourself till we meet again.